Well, folks, NBA and NHL Finals are in Game 3 of each series. 2-0 lead for Panthers and Celtics. Will it hold? We break down the MLB division by division. Another rousing segment of Mount Rushmore and schedule analysis for two surprising teams. Stick around. We'll do our fix of six, and we'll see what each of us is sipping on tonight. It's Wednesday, folks. Take a seat. Take a sip. It's Box Scores and Bourbon.
Look at the box scores.
Box scores and bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
Baseball, box scores.
So football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box scores and bourbon.
Yesterday, it was announced that Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was re-signed for a 3-year extension going through the 2027 season. Now, this is great news if you're a sane football fan. This is fantastic news if you've been a fan of a football team for the last 4 decades that have only had 3 head coaches. Hell, in the last 3 decades, my dad has had as many marriages as the Steelers have had head coaches. But I want to direct this to the fans of Pittsburgh. The ones, not the ones who are content with their football fandom, not the ones who are content with the fact that I'm a fan of a great football franchise that knows how to do it well. No, this is directed to the fans who are ranting and crying about the fact that you have one of the greatest head coaches to ever coach the game of football be re-signed again for 3 more years. My words to you, shut up. You have no idea how well you have it. And maybe this is the problem. This is the same problems that Patriot fans had when Bill Belichick was still coaching for them after Tom Brady left. You have no clue what you have because you've had it so well for 2 straight decades. We are talking about a man who won 10 games last season with the quarterback room of Mason Rudolph, who, not too bad, Kenny Pickett, and Mitch Trubisky. Now, I don't care what the schedule of strength is. Okay, you can have the worst schedule of strength as there is. You can play every sub 500 team that there is. But if you roll out quarterbacks Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, there's no way you're winning those football games. Ask any string of Lions quarterbacks they had in the 90s. They won nothing because they had no one, and their coaches were garbage. Mike Tomlin is the opposite of garbage. Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame head coach, and guess what, folks? He's only 52. We could have this conversation in 20 years from now. In the year 2044, we could still have the same conversation of Steeler fans upset because the guy who is leading them to consistent playoff runs is still in charge. Now I get it. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. They haven't truly been relevant ever since the Lamar Jackson era began in Baltimore. But this is still a team that you can never count out. They were counted out at the beginning of the season. And guess what? They fired Matt Canada. And guess what happened? The offense came to life. Mike Tomlin knows what he's doing. Mike Tomlin knows how to lead a franchise. Mike Tomlin is not the problem, Steelers fans. You are the problem. Yeah, man, I'm surprised you didn't hear about the fact that that they signed him.
No, I knew that they signed him. I just was not tracking that anybody was upset about it. Right?
Oh. They were calling for his head. They were all the freaking, what is it? The Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. All for their head.
Yeah.
All year last year. They're just a bunch of crybabies. They're entitled.
Yeah.
They're like trust fund kids.
Yeah.
Like, I just shut up.
Yeah.
You've never had it hard in your entire life.
I was tracking that they signed him, and when it came across my feed, I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. What I was surprised about was years, like 3 years is kind of like that weird time frame where you're like, oh well, we're sure we want you, but we're not sure what you're building, kind of. But yeah, it makes sense. I don't see why a lot of people tend to need a lot of change in their life. It's like part of society. Like you want to have the new exciting toy. Like all the iPhone users buy the new damn phone every year, even though it's the same damn thing. People just like the new, and seeing Tomlin be consistently good is getting boring for them. And God forbid any other can relate with the Steelers fans with stability and consistency in their coaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah. Like you're gonna bring it up early, later on in Fix of Six, but I heard there were more Steeler fans upset that Mike Tomlin got extended than Laker fans were upset that Dan Hurley didn't accept the job. Like it makes zero sense to me.
in the Mike Tomlin is the epitome of doing the most with the least, and the epitome of
Mm-hmm.
stability in an organization. Come on,
Yeah.
let's get
Yeah.
serious about this. Like
Yeah.
you said, if
Yeah.
there's fans out there that are
Yeah.
complaining, those are fans
Yeah.
that just don't actually understand what's
Mm-hmm.
going on in football. They just want to complain to complain. Let's be serious about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Before we go any further, let's cheers.
Cheers, cheers, everyone. Clink clink.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers, everyone. Clink, clink.
How are you, JB? How are your finals going?
Not well. Not well at all. So let's start with the NHL.
Sure.
Someone watched the clip of me talking about Florida's going to forget how to do power plays, and when that happens, Edmonton's going to strike. Well, and they did like the three-faced wide-eyed emoji, like three of them, and I knew instantly it was like that's not holding up too well, is it? And so I replied with, well, technically, I'm not wrong. Like Florida forgot how to capitalize on the power plays. They forgot how to do
Uh-huh.
it. But I'm wrong in the fact that Edmonton has not capitalized at
Right.
all on the fact that they're
let's
not.
let's be
And
honest. They still have four
it,
games to do it, or 5 games to do it, whatever it takes. But they could
yeah,
still mess up.
yeah, they can't. But the more I'm following this series, the more I'm. This is this is going to be Sergei Bobrovsky's shining moment, the goalie for
Oh, for
Florida.
sure.
He is. I think he's 34 years old. He probably doesn't have much time left. In fact, I'd venture to guess that if Florida wins the Stanley Cup, he probably
Hmm.
retires. But I mean, being a goalie is hard, man. It sucks. You don't have many 40-year-old
Especially the
goalies.
way that
You
he's
get beat
playing.
up,
Jesus,
and so
he's beating up his body, just
yeah, and
trying
so
to not let somebody score.
yeah, yeah, and so and you're playing against a squad with Connor McDavid, Nate Hyman. Uh, you have prolific scorers coming at you each game for what 60
Mhm.
minutes. So Bobrovsky's done nothing but sort of a stellar job in the NHL in these playoffs, and he's I mean honestly he is playing like he wants to bring a cup to Sunrise,
Oh,
Florida.
for
He
sure.
wants the
Oh, yeah.
Panthers to have this, and and again, this is just the curse of Edmonton. This is the curse of Canada in hockey. Like when when the great one leaves Edmonton to go to LA, where there hasn't been an ice machine in the whole state of California up until that point in the late '80s. It's like, well, I'd rather go there and play on dirt and then see what happens. I don't play street
Yeah.
hockey. Like it's like the equivalent of the curse of the Bambino. Like once you let Wayne Gretzky go, once you have him leave Canada,
Hmm.
then it's like, okay, well, I guess we don't really care about hockey so much because we're not doing everything we can to keep this man here.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah. I mean, just watching his gameplay is just, you can see that he is committed to being the reason that they win. He's shut out uh, the Oilers for 2 straight games, and it is not just
yeah,
like the defense playing well. He is single handedly shutting them out. They have had the Oilers have had breakaway
yeah,
opportunities where there's no reason he should have been able to stop them.
yeah,
I think I'm
yeah,
thinking of the right series where he saved one shot on goal by doing on his back for the most part, when he freaking did a half cartwheel to
yeah,
save the goal. Like, he's straight
yeah,
100%
yeah,
putting that team on their
yeah,
back. All they need to do is score
yeah,
one goal for the next
and
game,
yeah,
they'll win. The
hmm
way he's
yeah.
playing, it's 1-0 and they're fine.
Yeah, no, and he was doing that stuff too in the Ranger
Mhm.
series in the conference finals. He was making these saves, and granted, the Rangers didn't make it hard on him, and I said that correctly. Rangers didn't make it difficult for Bobrovsky to make saves because they were so bad at just the 30-foot shots. It's like just take a shot.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, imagine Like that series was like imagine Steph Curry outside the perimeter. And he's like, oh, I'll pass it to Draymond. Like, no, just take a shot. Like, I don't. What are we doing here? So,
Well, the Oilers are having
but
that problem,
the,
but they're still not getting through.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're. I mean, what game two? I think it was the Oilers outshot Florida 32 to
Yeah,
17. So it's not like Edmonton's not having their opportunities here. Bobrovsky's just there saying, "You shall not pass." He's Dumbledore back
yeah.
there. I. It's. I. It is going back to what I said before at the beginning of these playoffs. I always said the Rangers would get to the Stanley Cup Finals. If they did not get to the Stanley Cup Finals, it's because they came up against the Florida Panthers, who are not great at any one thing, but they are good across the board. They are good at everything. They know how to do a penalty kill. They know how. And granted, Edmonton. I mean, Florida's. I mean, yeah, Florida's. I think Florida's 1 for 8. Edmonton's 0 for 5. So there hasn't been that many opportunities to be able. I mean, Florida's had plenty of opportunities. Edmonton's always in penalty
Yeah,
trouble, but
apparently.
Florida Florida's good at everything. They're good at every aspect. They're good at defense. They're good at special teams. They're good. They probably their greatest asset to them, especially in the special teams area, is they know how to clear the puck. Anytime it gets too close, and Florida already does a phenomenal job of being able to 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 be in the zone and to help Bobrovsky. But if for some reason they don't get there, they clear it right
Hmm.
away. And that was, I mean, and that was one of the things that helped them in that Rangers series because, well, one, the Rangers weren't doing it, and so Florida is really good in the zone. If you put Florida in the zone, if they press, they're going to score. It's going to happen. And then if no one's there on the defensive end, they're going to knock it down the ice. And they're a sound squad, and they know how to play the game all
They're
around.
playing
So,
very
but
well.
it's
Honestly,
only it's
yeah.
yeah
It's like you said,
yeah
it's not a flashy. Maybe it's not a flashy style of playing, but it's a well-oiled machine. Very similar to the dominance of the Patriots. They didn't have some. I'm
yeah
not saying Tom Brady was like not a flashy or good
yeah
player, but they didn't have like stellar
yeah
rosters. They just had stability and they knew what they were doing, and they
yeah
executed so well
mhm,
that nobody could defend perfect. That's
yeah
what they're doing. They're just doing everything they're supposed to, and it's just working out well.
yeah yeah yeah. I blinked out. Did you compare them to the
I
Patriots?
did.
You did? Okay. Yeah, I thought you did. Yeah, but you're exactly correct. It's like they have the star and then everyone else.
Hmm.
That's it. Everyone's exactly where they need to
Yep.
be. And clearly in this series for the Panthers, Bobrovsky is Brady.
Yeah.
So you may as well call him, you know, SB12. So it's like it's just I mean he's there.
Yeah.
So but it's 2 games in. It's hockey. Home ice advantage doesn't mean anything. I find it hard to believe Edmonton's not going to win at least 2 games in this series. There hasn't been any series so far in these Stanley Cup Finals or the playoffs that have screamed, "Oh, this is a
Yeah.
surefire series here." There just hasn't been. And so it'll go 6 games. I think Florida's going to prevail. Um, I'm not wavering on that. I just thought Edmonton would do a much better job at capitalizing. Like, I mean, they've done a great job on penalty kills, but I thought once the penalty kill was done, they would go off and, McDavid and Hyman would do their thing, but they've been non existent.
Yep.
They've
Yeah.
one goal
It's that,
this entire finals.
and
So,
you can't really say that this
yeah,
is their lack of effort. Again, it's the goalie play by the Panthers that are really stopping them from
yeah,
scoring. Like I'm
yeah,
I'm I've
yeah,
been watching the commentary after the games, and they continue to act like the
yeah,
2-0 series is a 3-0 series. Like there's still four,
mhm,
5, 6
yeah,
games to be played.
hmm
Let's not act like the
yeah.
Oilers are like done and dead in the water. Like
They're
they're
not.
not.
They're
They're
not dead. Yeah, no, no. This is one of the most prolific offenses that we've seen in some time, and so I just don't see Edmonton getting swept. I don't see Edmonton not winning 2 games in
Yeah,
this
no.
series. I just don't.
And I don't
But
know, and
yeah,
I'm not too sure
but
that I always slaughter his name, Bobrowski. Um, I don't know that his
hmm
game style will be sustainable over. six more games or however long it goes.
Yeah.
So there'll be opportunities for it because he's been pulling out some
Yeah.
miraculous saves. So
Yeah.
there'll be opportunities. They just have to capitalize them and
There have been.
comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying
Yeah.
like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Phillies are
Yeah.
going to come back and win the series,
Yeah.
but it's going to be competitive. Even the score's not
Yeah.
reflective of really
Yeah.
what the game is because they've in
Yeah.
both games there's been
Mhm.
empty net goals
Yeah.
where it's I don't I don't
Yeah.
personally count empty net goals. I don't agree with the way
Yeah.
that they've been.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't like the way that they've been approaching the empty
Yeah.
like right off the face off
Hmm.
or like that doesn't make sense to me because
Yeah. Hmm.
you're losing the percentage of what you're winning the face offs and that's like guaranteed
Hmm.
goals. But
Yeah.
that's another story for me. But when it's empty goals and you're getting a score, when like
Yeah.
I'm not looking at that as like oh they lost 2-0
Hmm.
what a
No.
freaking dominant
Yeah.
performance. Like it was
Yeah.
2-0,
Yeah.
like they were trying to.
Yeah. 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 Game two, for all intents and purposes, was 3-1. That was the
Hmm.
final. That's what it was.
And
And
yeah, game one was
to your point about Bobrovsky not being able to hold up for, yeah,
that's fine.
no, absolutely, yeah. And to your point about Bobrovsky not being able to hold his own for the next up to 5 games they have left, the one thing I will say this is that the reason Shesterkin or had issue or he uh, Shesterkin wore down in that Ranger series, and it was because one, the defensive play was atrocious. The special teams was awful. They would seldom clear the puck to the other side of the ice,
Hmm.
and then the offense was they just weren't given Shesterkin enough wiggle room to actually kind of just be fluid back there
Right.
in front of the net. And so, but one of the things Florida's doing is even though they were outshot almost 2-1, it was 32-17. Florida was taking 50, 60 shots on goal every other game in that Ranger
Yeah.
series. And so one of the things I think Bobrovsky can kind of, I mean, he's not being, worn down nearly as much as Igor was in that Ranger series. And so I think if Florida continues to play defense the way they do, if Florida continues to play the special teams that they know they can, just clearing it to the other side of the ice, I think Bobrovsky is going to be just fine. And honestly, I don't. I mean, this is the last series of the season. There's nothing. I mean, if you can't get hyped up for this, if you can't be a dog in a series like this, I mean, you just don't. I don't even know how you lasted this long in the NHL. And
Well,
so it's,
straightly put, if you can't push yourself past what your body is telling you, you don't deserve to win. It's pretty easily put.
yeah,
Like you can't
yeah,
save yourself whenever there's nothing to
yeah,
save.
yeah,
And that goes
yeah.
across the board. That's
It is a
every
perfect
sport.
segue to the Mavs series. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a perfect segue to the Mavs series and watching Luca struggle to get from one half of the court to the other half because of he got power drived in that first game, and
Yeah.
so his chest he can't even breathe.
Hmm.
He's just going back and forth, and then you got Big Bird out there who's breaking another part of his leg, and he's questionable for
No, he's
tonight for
out. He's
Boston.
out for tonight.
Oh, he's out now. Okay.
Porzingis
All
is
right.
out.
Yeah, which is great news for
It
Dallas.
is
Yeah, it's great news for Dallas because Porzingis was the Mav killer, especially in game two.
game
He
one.
was
No,
just a
game
Mav
one. You
killer.
think game
And
one? He got 7 out of 9 3-pointers. A center doing that? That's
no, no, yeah,
yeah.
no, he did. But I'm talking about game two. Game two, he stepped up in areas where even when the Mavs got it within 6 or 7,
Mm-hmm.
Porzingis would just take it down the court and just three.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he did it. Jalen did it. Drew did it. Jason did it. I mean, they all did it. Derek White did it. They all.
They've
I
all been
mean,
going off.
it didn't. It seemed like, yeah, it seemed like Boston just didn't
No,
miss at all. They just haven't
mm-mm,
missed
no.
whatsoever.
It's crazy.
I
In
will
game
say
one,
I've hated
what
the
was the score breakdown? They were like up by 20, and Dallas kept pushing and pushing, and they
yeah,
got it to within 7. And you thought, okay, there we go. Like now it's a
hmm,
game, and then like that, they were up by 20 again. They've been clicking at all.
yeah,
There hasn't been a day where
yeah,
any of them,
mm,
which I expected there to be a day where
yeah,
one of them, one of their key starters, was going to have an off
mhm,
game. But there
yeah,
hasn't been that, and it's 2 games, sure. But so far,
yeah,
none of them have
hmm,
had off games. It's crazy to me. So I mean,
yeah,
it's a bummer for
yeah,
the Mavericks that they're having to deal with
yeah.
that because on the other side,
It is. Yeah,
Kyrie and our our X Factor player PJ Washington have not been having games like they should.
They haven't. No. Yeah, and game two was the epitome of what you were talking about before the series started, where if Luca was out or if Luca just wasn't there, then this was PJ's time to shine. PJ had to step up, and so and we just haven't
And
seen
no,
it. I will say Gafford played the game of his life in game two. I know they lost and that effort was wasted, but Gafford was on both ends of the court too. I've never seen Gafford that way on the offensive end. He was attacking the basket like nobody's business, and so just watching him just light a fire under that squad, and and I mean, all it's going to take is honestly for PJ to wake up because look, I the scores for both of these, especially game one, was just it. The game one score was a lot further apart than the stats actually anticipated. Game two, I don't think was that
no,
far
it
apart.
wasn't.
I
No,
don't. I think there were absolutely moments where Dallas could have they should have capitalized when they would break the deficit down below double digits, but then Boston would just go to the side of the court. They just wouldn't miss, and then the officiating was just so bad. It was awful. It's someone they tag team tackled Luca
tag team.
on the Mavs end of the court. Yeah, they tag team tackled him, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna take it, Boston. That's fine. Go, whatever." Like, and just like, there was another one that was just outrageous. Like, my wife was on the phone with a friend, and I was just like, "This is bull crap. No, these refs' efforts suck." And she was like, "Babe, I got to go outside. I can't hear my friend. Like, you're yelling at too loud." And so it's just but it was so it is so bad. And I get it. They were missing calls on the Boston end, but
Mhm.
not nearly as egregious. And need I remind you, I'm a big '90s NBA fan. I loved the in late '80s. I loved when you could just punt. I loved it when Isaiah Thomas punched people in the mouth and they're like, "What? Well, I didn't do anything. I was just standing here." But and so I don't believe in all these sissy calls that the refs are making. But and you don't have to make a sissy call. But when it's blatant and you're going to sit there and say, "Well, these are the fouls," well, then be consistent with it.
Right.
If you're going to sit there and say these are fouls, then be consistent. Be consistent with it because this is just. I mean, it was atrocious what I was seeing, especially in that second half of game two. It was so bad.
It was. I mean, but I
Yeah,
I'm not seeing it like one sided, which tends to be that way. Like for
yeah,
some reason, I'm not claiming
hmm
favoritism by any means, but you tend to see certain calls
yeah,
going for a certain team. Game two, it just seems like we're
hmm
not all there at all from both sides. Like this straight up, just we're not getting
yeah,
right at all. And like
yeah,
easy stuff, they were just like,
yeah,
I didn't see it, or I
mhm,
saw something that was never freaking there. They're just all over the place. Their inconsistency has been bad. But on the
mhm,
the Luca conversation, even though Luca is hurt, he got hurt during game one, and he freaking
mhm,
half of his body was on
yeah,
ice before tip off of game two. This man is still leading the finals in
yeah,
scoring. He's averaging over 30 points per
mhm,
game. I'm just I'm disappointed. Not
yeah,
mad. I'm just disappointed in the rest of the players because Luca is leaving it all
mhm,
out on the court.
yeah,
30, he's averaging 40 points, 30, no, 40
mhm,
minutes,
yeah,
points. And the next best player
yeah,
is averaging what?
yeah,
Which is
mhm,
PJ Washington. Sure. You're not supposed to lead the
yeah,
finals in scoring, PJ. I get it. 16 points, dude. Come on.
yeah,
Like that's just and then Kyrie being third on the
yeah,
team?
yeah,
No.
yeah,
That's just unacceptable. Now, if
yeah.
they do
Well, Kyrie, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if they do for some reason lose this series, I am as of right now saying will not be able to sit here and say that Luca was at any point to blame for them losing the series. There's nothing for him to do.
No, no, absolutely not. No, 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 because this dude's been playing hurt the whole day. He's got a bum knee,
Mhm.
and what is he from Slovenia or Slovakia? And
I
I
think
think he actually said he's going to be playing for for
your team.
uh, for his country right after the season. And so he's not. It's not like he's quitting. And so I mean he's been playing banged up. And I want to say something on Kyrie because Kyrie was the was an absolute catalyst in that Minnesota series. Now, granted, Minnesota gave up because it was nap time, but Kyrie absolutely just. I mean he lit up the scoreboard every time Luca was being double teamed or Luka was out or it was just Kyrie's time to shine, Kyrie was averaging what 35 minutes, more than 20 points a game in that
Almost
series.
average.
I have not seen it from
Yeah,
him.
it's not there.
Yeah, he's actually yeah. I mean, I was checking the plus minus. He's actually the most detrimental part of the Mavs offense right now. Like when he's on the court, he's the worst player in terms of
Yeah,
of
bad. He's
of
minus 11. Um,
uh, analytics.
yeah, he's minus
Yeah,
11 right now. That
he's
is
really bad. Luca's not even as bad, and yeah, and Luca doesn't even have a chest right now. His sternum's cracked.
yeah.
Like Luca can't even breathe, and he's still doing Luca stuff. And I'll say this about Luca is I don't if Dallas loses the series, which I don't think they will. I think Dallas still pulls through. I think Dallas wins this series. I honestly do. I'm not giving up on Dallas. Dallas is too good a team. They have shown us time and again that Clipper series was a Clipper series. That's a throwaway to me. But how they showed up against OKC and how they shut down Minnesota. That I mean, and the West is always much more competitive than the East is, and you can sit there and tell me, well, Boston they've looked good. Like I said, Game 2 was not nearly as far apart as it was as the score
Right.
dictated. Game 2 was a lot closer
Oh
if you
yeah,
actually watch that
Dallas
game.
had the lead the
And
entire first
and
half.
if
For the most
yeah,
part, they did.
yeah, yeah. And so this is a mere thing. And Luka could have sat out Game 2, but you know what? He said, "No, I'm carrying this team. I've carried this team throughout the entire playoffs. I've had one knee. I have no chest. My lungs are collapsed, but I'm still going to play." And he was still an offensive force on Dallas's end. And that's the crazy part is that he was still an offensive force, and he was like 50%
Yeah,
Luka,
and still averaging 30
50%.
points.
And Lucas, yeah, he still got 38 minutes and 30 points, and it's like, okay, well, obviously Luka's out there busting his balls, and he is just giving it everything he has.
Mhm.
But he just was not moving. You
Oh
could
yeah,
tell he was like,
he's
oh,
half speed, half effort.
yeah,
Kudos to him.
hmm
Like I said I
yeah.
can't sit here and judge
So
anything
yeah,
about him. He's
absolutely, yeah,
50%, at
yeah,
30 points, really?
yeah,
When 100% of
yeah,
the rest of the
yeah,
roster is averaging 10, 12 points? Come on.
yeah, yeah. But tonight I am. Uh, they're in Dallas. Maybe they'll have a whiteout. Maybe Luca's energized by this, and he's just like, I'm doing this because if all Dallas has to do is win tonight. If they win tonight, they win tonight. I'm going to consider this series even. It doesn't have to go 2-2 for me. If it's 2-1, Dallas wins their first home game tonight. This series is way, way, way back on. It's way back on, especially with Porzingis out, and Porzingis is going to be out for the rest of the series. He's not coming back. There's no way he's not coming
It's just
back.
a strange.
So
Well, I don't know. He might miss 2 games.
he missed 2.5 series for what? Losing his nasal strip. Like I just like Porzingis he's just he's just he's just a tall glass doll version of Big Bird. That's all he is. That's all he
He's a
is.
badass, though. I can't.
But
He's killing it.
he is. I mean, when he's playing, when he's on, he's on.
Hmm.
But I just don't know how often he's gonna be
Yeah.
on. No,
He has
I
been
mean,
hurt his entire
he
career.
has to be on
It's
the
been a
court.
thing for him to be hurt his
He
entire
has
career.
been.
So it's not. You're
Oh
not
yeah,
well placed
yeah.
to.
I mean, even go back to to the Knicks. He was hurt all
Yeah.
the time. He went to the Mavs. He was hurt for 2 years, even and then or for a year, and then now he's with Boston. He's hurt
Hmm.
again. He's hurt all the time. So, but I will say that it is a bad sign that for Boston that much of their success hinges on if Porzingis is on the court because Boston has not faced anybody with Dallas's caliber yet. They faced 3 teams before this series that lost all their superstars: Butler, Mitchell, and Halliburton, and they didn't even look like they were you know like taking it seriously.
Right.
But with this, but and in game 1, yeah, it was over before it even started. Game 2 was a lot closer than the score indicated, and because Porzingis was on that floor, and Porzingis even pushed it after he tore his meniscus, I think it was, like on the Dallas offensive end when Kyrie went in there for the bucket, he fell down. Boston needs to figure out if they're going to win this series, which I still don't think they will. Boston needs to figure out how to win this series with or without
Right.
Porzingis. They need to because they have not played. Like I said, Dallas is another beast. It's another monster. They have not played a team like Dallas, and Dallas is tried and tested, tried and tested. They have not. Outside of the Clippers series, they've played the OKC series, Minnesota series with both of those squads at full strength, and now they're playing a Boston team that's not at full strength, especially if you consider they have to rely on Porzingis so much.
Well, that sure, but you're saying Dallas is not like a team that they played before, but Dallas is also not playing like Dallas, which is the concern to me. And the second point of my concern is that there's already a lot hanging on Game Three. Obviously, you don't want to go down 3-0. Nobody comes back from 3-0 besides LeBron, but
Yeah,
what I don't want to see is them Dallas going into this game because Porzingis is out, thinking that it's going to be an easier guaranteed win because of the driving force for the
yeah,
Celtics. They can't be
yeah,
complacent thinking it's a for sure.
yeah, no,
And
yeah,
I've
no,
seen
yeah,
it before, but this series is confusing me based off of Dallas's approach so far. I haven't seen Dallas take that
yeah,
complacency approach, but I am concerned that
yeah,
there's somehow
hmm
that's brewing. That they're going to take it for granted. Porzingis is out. Oh, we don't have to worry about
yeah,
him. Easier path to win,
yeah,
and then somehow it's a buzzer beater
yeah,
or last second 3 point, whatever it is. I just don't want to see it, and I'm concerned that
yeah,
there's a possibility that
yeah,
that could be.
yeah, yeah. And and I hear your concern, and I have the same concern, but I'm not as concerned because I think ever since what Game 6 against OKC, the the adjustments Jason Kidd has made, not just on the defensive end, but taking advantages of the matchups on the offensive end of the court. Jason Kidd's going to figure this out. He's going to figure this out. And look, Joe Mazzulla, he's a great head
Yeah,
coach. He's not a slob by any stretch. This dude is a he will probably Joe Mazzulla is probably going to end up being the Eric Spoelstra of Boston. He's going to be on that side on court side for the next 20 years. I don't think he's going
I don't know.
anywhere. Especially if Brad Stevens has anything to say
I
about
don't
it.
know. I'm not sold on it, and I'm not judging.
But
It's not because of Missoula. It's because they're holding Missoula
yeah,
to
no,
the
yeah,
like feet to the fire at all times. They're like all season. They said if he doesn't make the finals, if he doesn't win the finals, he's gone. Like this guy,
eh,
first the
yeah,
best team in the league overall. You're telling
yeah,
me he doesn't win the finals in his first year, he's fired. I think the expectation is in Boston is too high
yeah,
that even if he's good, he won't be
yeah,
satisfied. I just
yeah,
that's my concern with.
yeah. No, yeah, yeah. But I think, yeah, I honestly, I mean, but just all that aside, Dallas, I don't think Dallas is going to come in here and just be complacent. I don't think they're going to go in there and say, "Oh, Porzingis isn't playing. Thank God we can play this at the same pace we've been playing at Game 1 and Game 2." I think Dallas is going to come out not with a vengeance, but with intention, and they're going to come out and with this like ninja focused execution for how they played, especially from Game 6 in OK series through the Minnesota series. Jason Kidd's gonna light up these guys. He's he he he's been here before as a player, so he I mean, and I think that's the benefit. He knows what it takes to be able to get these guys going, and so Dallas is going to come in tonight. Honestly, they're going to win Game 1, and well, the first game in
Yeah,
Dallas, they're going to win. This series is essentially going to be even now. Even though it's 2-1, Boston lead. I think it's going to be an even. It's going to be it's going to be considered an even series because Dallas found their footing, and if Dallas wins tonight, and depending on how Dallas wins tonight, I don't mean just by 1 or 2 points like they're accustomed to doing. I mean like if they go out and and they just perform and they execute just perfectly, near perfect. If I'm Boston, I'm getting a little scared because there's no way they didn't see what Dallas did in the Western Conference playoffs up to this point. So
yeah. I mean, I would give the typical like wishy-washy response that you're saying if Dallas wins today, it's like an even series. I would say, well, it depends, and you kind of addressed the point that I want to make. It depends on
yep,
what type of game it is. If it's a close game, I'm not saying Dallas is
right.
okay by
Mm-hmm.
any means. If Dallas doesn't have a
Right.
dominant performance across the board by the starters and their bench. They don't
Mhm.
have that, then I will be concerned because you're saying Porzingis is out. I'm not too sure he's going to be out for that long. But if you're barely winning
Yeah.
without him being on the court, what because
Exactly.
of that? So I
Hmm.
need
Exactly.
dominant performance, not
Yeah.
20-point game. Like
Yeah.
the eye
Hmm.
test behind the performance itself has to pass.
Yeah.
I have to
Hmm.
be convinced that they
Yeah.
are like well rounded
Yeah.
in the. And
Hmm.
if they're not, I will be concerned that maybe it's
Yeah.
only going to go 5 games and they
Yeah.
stole one game from Boston. I'm not
Yeah.
jumping off the Dallas train right now. I picked them to win the series in six. Still
Hmm.
possible. I don't know that
Yeah.
they'll win
Hmm.
four in a row now, but there is a
Yeah.
level of concern brewing because of the way that they have yet to perform at that
Yeah.
level that we were expecting them to
Yeah.
perform. Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. No. And yeah.
I can't sit here and
Yeah.
say
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm right there with you because like because it and I'll stand by it. If they only win by 1 or 2 points, I'm not going to be so much of a believer. I don't care what kind of game they play. If they win by more than 5, they win by more than 5 points, but you watch the game and you see how they execute. Okay, all right. And then need I remind you, and you already know this, for them to win in 6 games, they have to win 4 in a row. Well, the next out of the next 4 games,
three of them are at home.
3 of these are in
Hmm.
Dallas. The next
Hmm.
3 are in
Well,
Dallas.
no, they skipped one,
So it
but yeah. Either way, three of them.
no two. I
Well,
thought it was
2-1-1-1.
two. Oh, it's 2-2-1, two
Yeah,
two one one. Yeah. So out of the next 4 games, 3 of them are in Dallas. So this is absolutely not out of the realm of possibility for Dallas to win 4 games. But before we get to that point, just like you, I want to see how they play
right.
tonight. Because even if they do win, I want to see how they win, what kind of game they play. I want to see just how not just how Luca performs because we know he's going to perform even at 50, 60%. I want to see what Kyrie does. I want to see if PJ steps up. I want to see some momentum toward toward game 4 about PJ and Kyrie really stepping it
Hmm.
up. And if Gafford really just when he's on the floor, if he's going to be as effective as he was on both ends of the court, then okay, then you've got to. I mean, they already have a really good squad, but to sit there and to kind of have all your cogs moving in motion, kind of just having that, if if PJ and Kyrie both average, I don't know, if they both get 18 points tonight, okay, all right. I will start to believe that maybe there's something happening here.
Hmm.
I don't need them scoring 20, but if they get like 18 points, if they average a point or a point every two
Yeah.
minutes that they're on the court, then okay, fine, fantastic.
I'm not too
That's
sold
all I
on
want to
that. I'm
see.
not too sold on that approach. Out of the entire rosters, for the most part, the ones with experience are who? Drew Holiday made it to the finals with the Bucks, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie has made it to the finals with the Cavs, and then Holford, right? He's made it to the finals
Mm-hmm.
previously with can't remember
Yeah.
what team he
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
on, but on the Dallas team, he is the guy with the experience. The expectation out of me would be that Kyrie would be leading by example and actually dominating. I'm not satisfied with him putting 20 points up because he's supposed to be the one man, like the right hand man to Luca.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
signed him to an extension
Yeah.
because he complimented
Mhm.
Luca. He ain't doing shit for Luca right now. My expectation is for him to
He's not.
almost point with
Yeah.
Luca because that's how their offense is set up.
Mhm.
Double team Luca, Kyrie, you score. Double team Kyrie, okay, Luca, you
Yeah.
score. If Luca's doing his
Yeah.
part and then Kyrie's missing his shots or not
Mhm.
doing his part, what the hell
Yeah.
is the expectation out of that team? That is what
Yeah.
the offense.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not satisfied with Kyrie getting 20 points. I know 20 points is like a good benchmark to him, but I don't. I need 30 from
Yeah.
Kyrie for sure. 30 from Kyrie.
Well, no, I would love 30 from Kyrie, but to to the point that we've been making, kind of watching Dallas play out, if if it's 18, 20 points from both PJ and from Kyrie, I want it to be because of the style of play they had. If it's
Hmm.
because Luca had 15 assists, 20 assists like he's accustomed to having. And it's because he was spreading the ball around and Kyrie and PJ were both answering the call. Okay. If 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 Kyrie's got 30 points and Dallas only wins by 5, that's a problem to me. That's a problem because and if PJ has what 18 points and Luka's got his usual 30ish, that's a problem to me if they only win by 5 because that tells me they didn't execute well enough on the defensive end of the court and they were probably missing too many gimmies on the offensive end. But what I but and I didn't, I guess I didn't say this, but like if they have 18 points apiece, even just as a baseline, and Luca's got his 30, he's got his normal amount, and they win by 5, it's because there's an execution happening there. There's an execution that is taking place, and this is the absolute bare
Oh,
minimum
did
that
I?
I
I was
you
just
just find
I
out.
was just kind of giving my point on what you were just stating about Luca
Mm,
giving his 30 and then Kyrie and PJ giving their share. I can't agree with you even on that aspect because if Luca's not at 50%, it is time for the rest of your team to step up and take that workload off of Luca. I know Luca has shown this image of being like the supernatural guy. Fine. Give the man the opportunity to not have to put up 30. Everybody else step up, do their part. Give me 20, 25 from the players that can score. And then that way, Luca doesn't have to beat up his body. You can keep him healthy for another uh, five, 5 games that you need. That's my issue with what the way you're phrasing it.
mhm.
And maybe I'm understanding you wrong
Yeah,
from how you view things.
yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Yeah. No, and yeah, I can. Yeah,
Uh,
and I it's it I and I can agree with your assessment and not agreeing with my take on it. I think I'm just looking at it as the because of what I've seen from Dallas, it seems every game's been incremental so far. Every aspect of their game. It's only been 2 games, but it's been incremental. And so what I saw in game 1 was almost non-existent from anyone except Luca. And then game 2, they had their chances. They absolutely had their chances, and they blew them. And then coupled with the fact that Boston just wasn't missing, I don't think Boston is going to have the same offensive fire or just offensive fire suppression that they've had in game 2. I think that's gonna stop. They've had these spells before where they were just hitting threes and then it just ended.
right.
So I don't see that happening again. But that's not really that's out of Dallas's control. What I want to see from Dallas is, especially on the defensive end of the court, in game 2, there were too many men wide open. There were too
True.
many.
True.
And I get Luca not getting to the other end, but there's 5 guys. There's 4 other men on that team. Where are they? I don't remember Luca being outlined in chalk, after the board was made. So where are the other 4 at?
Hmm.
And so there were too many guys left open on the defensive end, on the defensive side, um, for Dallas, that it was very telling to me that's one area they were not executing the way they should.
Yeah.
And so, but I have full confidence that Jason Kidd's going to address that.
Sure. And so this is the last point I want to make before we move on. So there's a couple things that I want to see. First off, Dallas's defense, their rotation has been crap. There's no other way to put it. Whenever
Hmm.
they're on defense, their
Yeah.
defense is collapsing into the paint, and then Boston is
Hmm.
playing past the ball until one of the guys is open because their rotation is just not there. They're not covering the
Yeah.
guys. So that's the first thing I want to see Dallas fix that error because it is a obvious error for the last 2 games that they're not covering well. Secondly, I would be more satisfied if I want to see Dallas get the win today, but I want to see Luca score no more than 25 points in that win because then that will mean all the other components that are part of Dallas's offense and
Mm.
defense are finally clicking. If I
Mm.
see Luca break 30 again, even if they get the win, if he gets 30, 35, in a part of me will say I'm still disappointed about the fact that Luca's still having to carry that weight for that team.
Yeah.
I don't. I just believe that the team needs to do their part to help Luca out. Just give him a break. And if he's still having to carry the team, even if they win today, I won't have too much hopes for the rest of the series because Luca's not going to have time to get healthy. And if he's still having to
He's
carry
not.
the
No.
team, I don't know how much
Mm.
will be left in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. But let's start with
So
game
let's go
three.
ahead and move on.
Let's
Let's
start with
move on
tonight.
from that.
Let's get through tonight, and let's see if Dallas can actually just begin to build on that momentum that I saw them have in game two.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We'll see
yeah,
how game three goes. But well, let's go ahead and
yeah,
move on to the next.
yeah, yeah. Let's get to MLB. Let's just kind of break down here. Let's start with the AL East. The Yankees are just they're just absolutely just putting a thumping on people. And what's funny is that Aaron Judge is absolutely Aaron Judge right now. He is doing. I mean he's doing things that he didn't even do the year he hit 60 homers.
Yeah.
Like this is like I mean he is playing all out ball.
Mm-hmm.
And let me I saw these stats earlier today. Okay, so through the end of May, well since May 1st, his slash has been 398, 522, 976. Okay. He's at a 1498 OPS with 18 bombs and 41 ribbies in 158 plate appearances. Yankees 29-7 during that stretch, but more importantly, this puts Judge on pace for 59 homers, which I don't know why you don't just round up to 60. It's Aaron Judge. Why are you taking out all my fun? But since the beginning of June, his first 30 plate appearances, 533, 650, a 1,200 slugging percentage, not OPS, slugging percentage. That's an 1850 OPS with 5 jacks. This dude is playing absolutely out of his mind that even if he regressed to half of what he's doing, that's still a 300 hitter
Yeah.
who's still hitting a homer every other game. And that 29-7 stretch, that included Soto not being in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So forget Judge even having protection in the lineup. He's like, okay, whatever. Oh, well. Stanton hasn't been a slob recently.
No.
He's actually been chiming in.
Yeah.
Soto has been playing Soto ball the entire season, and I'm impressed with it. And because he like I said, April was one of his slowest months. He blew it up in April, and he's still following through it. But that pitching is in. Look, it makes sense that the Yankees are taking their time with Garrett Cole. Why would you rush him?
Yeah.
You 27 games above 500. You got what, a 4-game lead, a 2.5-game lead on Baltimore. They have a 4-game lead in the win column on the Orioles. There's no reason to rush him when you have Rodon just pitching. Like I've said this time and again, during his entire career since he left NC State, and even since we started this pod, if Rodon could stay healthy, there is no telling what this guy's ceiling is. And he is showing the world on the brightest stage, New York, what he can do when he is healthy. Luis Hill is doing phenomenal as a rookie. He is pitching out of his mind. And so, and this is without Nestor pitching to what he was pitching last year. And then you got Clay Holmes just closing out games like it's no problem. Now, I will say, I mean, I don't think it was actually telling the fact that they lost 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to be the most expensive first-round exit ever. So it's not a big deal. But watching them win that game on Sunday night was awesome. But the rest of the AL East, like outside of the Orioles, there's just no shot for them
No.
at all.
Already done. It's
I mean,
it's a 2-horse
yeah.
race. I'm not saying it's done, but yeah, it's a 2-horse race.
No, it's not. But I mean, yeah, this is a 2-horse race for the division, and like the Sox, the Jays, and the Rays aren't even in the wild card picture right now. They're not. Like the closest team in the AL East is the Red Sox. They're 2.5 behind the third spot in the AL wild card.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I like 2 teams make it from the AL East. That's gonna be the Yankees and the Orioles. The second place finisher of the AL East, as sad as it's going to be, as tragic as it'll be, the second place team is going to end up uh, 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 hosting a wild card game because they will be the top seed. They
Right.
absolutely will.
Yeah.
The Royals, the AL Central is going to have 3 teams make it. And I never thought I'd say this. I never thought I'd ever live to say the AL Central will have 3 teams make it to the playoffs. I never thought I'd say that. And right now, the Twins are holding their own, absolutely holding their own. Now, my biggest question mark is always going to be Cleveland. Cleveland is winning right now because of their offense. They have not been known for their offense since Jim Tomei was manning first base. That's 20 years ago. And so ever since you had Manny being Manny, you had Omar Vizquel, you had Jim Tomei, you had Kenny Lofton. Um, I honestly, I just don't see Cleveland's offense sustaining what they're doing right now, it's good enough to win the wild. It's good enough to get a wild card seed. Kansas City's going to end up winning that AL Central. They just will, especially after they were down 8-0 to the Mariners and they win 10-9 in extras. That was wild. That was a wild game. So, as far as the AL East goes, it's going to be the Yankees. It's going to be the Orioles. The AL Central is going to have 3 teams win it. I'd like to see the Tigers do something, but the Tigers have just been falling apart
Hmm.
of late, and so they're 4-6 in their last 10. But I think what's going to be their silver lining is the fact that Javi Baez is no longer in that lineup. I think if you give if you give a leash to any other player that's not named Javi Baez, which is sad to say, the dude was he was El Mago. Okay, he was the magician. All
Yeah.
right, he did some things with the Cubs that no player's ever done since Ozzie Smith. And so, but now that Baez is not in that lineup, I think that they might actually be better. They sent down Torkelson. Baez is on the IL. Let's see what Detroit can do. So far, not so good. But I mean, it. But honestly, it's gonna. I'd like to see Detroit get in the wild card, but it's going to be the Twins, the Indians, and the Royals from the AL Central, and then from the AL West, it's going to be the Mariners. The Mariners will win that division.
Yep. It
They
doesn't
just will.
seem like it's gonna be. It's not.
Uh,
It doesn't look like
yeah,
it's gonna be close. They have a, what 8.8 game win on the 8 game lead on the win side, and it's only gonna get better.
yeah. Yeah. So the Rangers are 6.5 out of first, but they have an 8-game deficit in the
Yeah.
win column,
Hmm.
and nobody in the AL West is doing well outside of the Mariners, who are 7-3 in their last 10. The Astros are 5-5, and
Yeah.
they're in third place right now. So it's just, but the thing with Seattle is if Seattle wants to have the sustained success, they're going to have to get a bat. They're going to have to get a thumper in that lineup because when you have a plus run differential of what is it 11, when you have a plus 11 run differential and you're in first place, that's not sustainable
No,
at all.
you need
It's
more.
just it's not. Yeah. uh, the National League, the Phillies are still the Phillies. They are still the Phillies,
Keep
and
doing what you're doing,
I just
Phillies.
I just don't see them stopping.
No.
I don't see them stopping. It is June 12th. It is June 12th, and they are still 26 games above 500 with a 10-game lead, not win column,
No.
10-game
Yeah.
lead above the Braves right now. That is huge. That's huge. Now the Braves, I think the Braves will figure it out. They absolutely will. They'll end up, being the top seed in the wild card. But I mean, Phillies just keep it going. Um,
Are you
in
sure
the
the
in the
Braves are
NL
going to
Central.
figure it out
But
with Acuna gone? I'm not too sure. He
I
was
think
the leading
so.
force
I
behind
think so.
that offense. I'm.
I think so. The Braves always do. They always do. Remember that year when Acuna went out and they won the World Series,
Mhm.
and Acuna ended up coming back? That was the year they got Adam Duvall, they got Jorge, and at Adam Duvall, they got Jock Peterson, they got Eddie Rosario, who ended up being the NLCS MVP, and then they got Jorge Soler, who ended up being the World Series MVP. Alex Anthopoulos is not just going to sit down and be like, "Oh, it's over." He's going to do some magic, crazy crap that's going to bring some guys to Atlanta, and they're going to surprise the world. Alex Anthopoulos is the only guy he could call Chicago White Sox right now and say, "I give me every outfielder that's not Luis Robert, and I will make them a post trade deadline all star." Okay, They could absolutely do that. They can go out and get uh, Andrew Benintendi, and Andrew Benintendi can be a revelation to the entire world. Like it's just like Alex Anthopoulos knows how to pick these guys, and he knows how to put them in position to win. He's not afraid to. He's not afraid to make these moves. Like really, like when they traded for Eddie Rosario, I'm like that dude can't even get on base. He's good to hit. He's got good power, but where are you going to play him? Didn't matter. They figured it out. NLCS MVP. Like Anthopoulos will figure this out. And if by some miracle the Phillies go on a 2-game losing streak, that's when the Braves will go on a 10-game win streak. They'll reduce this divisional deficit by 5 games. They are 10 games out.
Yeah.
Mark my words. I will not be surprised at all if the Braves end up standing on top of the NL East by season's end.
Wow.
I won't be surprised
That is
at
a
all.
major take.
I won't. But losing Acuna is huge. But like I said, they've lost it before. And what do? They won the World Series.
Yeah.
So and maybe this is part of the master plan.
But Phillies weren't the Phillies that they were. These Phillies are not those Phillies that when the
they weren't. No, absolutely not. No, they're not. They're not. No.
I'm
no. And
I'm not. 99% sure they're gonna make the playoffs. That's fine. That's almost a given. Them being like one of the
absolutely
wild card, I'm not too sure about that. That's where I'm placing some reservations.
Well, I only say that if the Braves don't win the division, they'll be the top wild cards because the rest of the National League is so mid. They are so mid right now. So let's move to the NL Central.
Yep.
Here's a thought game for you, okay? Here's a thought practice. The Pirates, the Pittsburgh Pirates are only 7 games out of first place for the NL Central, okay? If you go to the wild card, right? Okay. Let's have an exercise here. Well, in the NL in the National League, the Pirates are half a game out of the wild card, okay? Here are the teams they are behind, okay? They're half a game behind the Giants, they're a game and a half behind the Padres, and they're 4 games behind the Braves, okay?
Right.
The Pittsburgh Pirates have arguably three of their top one of the top starting rotations in the National League with Paul Skeens, Jarrett Jones, and Mitch Keller. If the Pittsburgh Pirates can find a bat, say the deadline comes, the Pittsburgh Pirates go out and they splurge and they go get Pete Alonso. Are you going to tell me that the Pirates will not overcome those playoff demons and that they won't make the wild card? And that if the Pirates end up making the wild card, I could see the Pirates being scary good in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
But that's only if they get a power bat. That's it. That's only if.
I mean, the Pirates are built. They have something good going. I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't know if they need an extra piece, but they have something going. They're only 3 games behind the Braves when it comes to leading the pack in the wild card race. I'm not. It's a dumb point for me to be arguing. I'm just not convinced that the Braves had a solid stronghold on the wild card and or the division by that means. I'm not.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah,
my feeling.
Is it a given? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But my point in bringing up Pittsburgh is that if it's almost the inverse. Like if because Atlanta right now has only a plus 27 run differential. They are almost 100 runs behind the Phillies, right? But if what is I want to do this. I want to look up Atlanta's rotation because I'm curious to see how well they're actually doing in the rotation because I don't know for certain because I'm not looking at it, but something tells me that it's this rotation that has kept them afloat. If that offense can click, there's a good chance that they could overcome the Phillies if the Phillies somehow slip. But with the Pirates, if the Pirates can get a bat and actually make the playoffs and actually just get into the wild card, I don't see why the Braves can't do the same thing.
True.
I just don't.
But that's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot, but we got what 800 games left in the baseball season. And then in the NL and then the NL West, you got the we. It's going to be the Dodgers. Um,
Yeah.
I don't see the Padres actually holding
No,
because of the Padres.
they're not. They're
And
they're there, but they're not there in an impressive fashion by any means.
yeah, yeah. And what's funny, there's one team that's not even in the wild card picture right now, but they're the only other. So there's three teams that are in the National League wild card picture right now: the Giants, Padres, Braves. Braves, Padres, positive run differential is 27-26. Giants have a negative 27 run differential. That's not going to hold. The only team with a positive run differential that is outside of the wild card picture right now are the Cincinnati Reds with a plus 13. Everyone else is in the red.
Yeah.
The Reds are on a run right now.
Yep.
They are on a run. Um, I can see the Reds even overcoming this. And then because the Padres are Padre. The Giants have no business being there.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks are actually starting to wake up just a little bit. And I mean, they were, of course, my team to win the NL West
That's
at,
looking too good.
at the beginning of the season. That's not looking too hot either. I'm not looking too bright in that. But if Corbin Carroll can somehow just find another gear and be Corbin Carroll, I can see the Diamondbacks actually maybe they won't win the NL West, but they'll be in the wild card picture.
I mean, they do have a chance for that, and kind of wrapping it all around so we can make a beautiful bow tie around a perfect cycle. So the Dodgers, yes, they are probably they don't. I don't see a reason why they will not win the NL West.
Yeah,
But wrapping
yeah,
around back to your first point about the Yankees are killing it right now, and I can't be a happier person. But my caveat to that is that they didn't look like a good. They didn't look good when they went up against the Dodgers. They
they didn't.
stole a win at the end. They're
Mm,
lucky they stole a win. And I know in game two there was like I can't remember what inning it was. It was like a grand slam that kind of blew that game open, but they didn't look good either way. So my
yeah,
concern about the Yankees in that series is that I'm not too sure how they are going to hold up against juggernauts once the playoffs come. I know it's June. They're
mm-hmm,
still to figure out they'll get better pitching, but the concern wasn't for me in that series was not their defense; it was their offense against good pitching. So if you want to win the pennant, if you want to be World Series champions, you have to be able to hold your own
yeah,
against the top of the league.
yeah. You do,
Bound to
you
match up
do.
against them.
Yeah,
It's a mute
yeah,
point. If you're going to win, you have to beat the best. And if they're
yeah,
barely scaping by or stealing one win in a three-game series against arguably the best team in the league, then
yeah.
I have some reserve about how you're going to hold up because I need you to be competitive in those matchups now to prove what you have coming in October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. Yeah,
And on that
yeah.
note,
So let's get yeah. On that note, let's get to the NFL.
heck
Let's
yeah,
get to our Mount Rushmore and our schedule analysis for the two lucky victims
yeah,
of of our picks.
our lucky
Yeah,
victims of our picks. Okay, you ready?
yeah.
I'm going to spin the wheel
Um,
first. Are you ready?
am I going first?
You are.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. Okay.
Come on, lucky number sevens. Come on, sevens, seven, seven, sevens.
All right. My I picked I picked I picked number I picked number three.
The wheel was going crazy on me. It was weird.
I know. I know. Yeah.
Like, stop spinning.
I'm gonna bust a dollar here. I picked number three. Who's number three?
Number three, you get the previously, well, not previously. You get the Rams. I was gonna go back to their history, but just give me the Rams. That's you get the Rams.
Ooh, the Los Angeles Rams, formerly known as the LA Rams. Okay. Or the St. Louis Rams.
Lewis Rams,
Okay.
yeah. That was a connection I was
Uh,
Chargers.
yeah. Okay. So I will start with two of the two of the great defensive players in Rams history. One of which is has a nickname tied to him, but I will go with Jack Youngblood as my first one, and
Hmm.
I will go with the Secretary of Defense, Deacon Jones. I will go with those two as my as my top two picks
Okay.
for that.
And I'm hoping there's
In the
another defensive
'70s,
player brewing. I'm just throwing that out there, but go ahead.
no, I only got room for two, only two. Um, for the better part of the '60s and the '60s and the '70s, they had Deacon Jones, and then at some point they had Deacon Jones and Jack Youngblood on the same squad. Um, but yeah, I will go with the Secretary of Defense. I will go with Jack Youngblood, and then for my next one, a quarterback. And no, it's not Roman Gabriel, even though he did play for the Rams. Roman Gabriel, plot twist, is not going to make the Rams Mount
So he
Rushmore.
makes he makes
Uh,
the Mount Rushmore of a team he never played on, but the team he played on he doesn't make it. Got it. Quality
I told you, plot
assessments.
twist. Okay, plot twist. I'm going to go with Kurt Warner. Uh, Kurt Warner is going to be on that Mount Rushmore. The guy going from stocking, a shelf full of Wheaties boxes to
And
being
everybody forgets he played arena football.
he played arena football. He did. Yep. To being a cog, a key, probably the most key part, or one of the two key parts in the greatest show on turf.
Right.
Leading the Rams to two Super Bowls
Winning.
and winning one of them. I got to go with Kurt Warner, and then my fourth one is going to be Mike Martz, the guy who started out as the offensive coordinator for the Rams and then became the head coach after Dick Vermeil retired. Um, this guy led them to two Super Bowls. They won one, and then they lost the second one to the Patriots, of course. But I'm going to go. Those are my Rushmore: Jack Youngblood, Deacon Jones, Kurt Warner, and Mike Martz. Go ahead, criticize. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think you know where the hell I'm going with this. What the hell? Where's Aaron Donald? Where is Aaron Donald?
That's a good point.
Where?
I got so stuck in the past.
Who are you gonna replace? I'll give you 5 seconds to
Mike Martz.
one.
Mike Martz.
Check.
Mike Martz is done. Aaron Donald is
Okay.
on it. Yeah.
Okay. There's
So yeah.
no way. I was like, there has to be a third player.
I got so stuck in the past that I completely forgot
About the guy
Aaron
that
Donald.
got them their Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I forgot about arguably the greatest defensive tackle to ever play the game. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay.
He
It's
wasn't
not a
even
big
gonna
deal.
keep
All right.
that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I will go with listen. All right. Now, was that as egregious as your C2K pick or whatever? Or C2K pick for the
gotten
Titans / Oilers? Yes, it was. It was very egregious because everyone knows Aaron Donald, and I forgot him.
Yes.
I'm sorry, AD. I'm sorry, 99. Please forgive me. Do not pummel me when you see me at the Albertsons. So Jack Youngblood. This is a lesson in humility, kids. Okay, learn this lesson. This is humility.
Accept
Jack Youngblood, Deacon Jones, Kurt Warner, and of course Aaron Donald, who was my first pick.
Yeah.
So
you're testing me.
All right. Do you want to do schedule analysis or you want to do your pick first?
Let's go over my picks first.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me spin the wheel for me now. All right.
What number?
I will be going with number 2.
You have the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, that's actually. I have confidence in who I would assess.
Yeah.
We'll see what the audience judges me on. Number one, the obvious pick would be Jim Kelly. Mister,
Jim Kelly.
Heck yeah,
Okay.
just for the simple fact that he beat cancer 4 times. No, just kidding. He was a great quarterback. He was a great quarterback for the 90s. It breaks my heart. It breaks my
Yeah.
heart that he never got a Super Bowl. But I mean, it the cookie crumbles how the cookie crumbles, but it doesn't take away from his greatness. So Jim Kelly,
Yeah.
number one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Number two, Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith,
Yes. There
yes.
we go.
He is the
Yes.
all-time leading,
Mm-hmm.
the all-time leader in sacks with 200. He was, I think he played in the league 12, 13 years, and he was an
Mm-hmm.
All-Pro 11 of those years, something like that, like something ridiculous. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're
Mm-hmm.
the all-time leader in sacks, you deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
And then here's where my controversy starts.
Okay.
My third,
Roman Gabriel.
yes, my third guy would be Josh Allen. Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
I,
Please do tell.
well,
Divulge.
he hasn't he hasn't
Expound.
he hasn't won anything, but he's
Yeah.
made the Bills relevant. That franchise was the laughing stock of the AFC East until he came around. Yeah, I understand
Mm-hmm.
his coach kind of brought the greatness out of him, but the only reason I think he hasn't won anything is because he continues
Mm-hmm.
to run into Patrick Mahomes, and that's just not fair to hold
Yeah.
out against him. So he's good. He made the franchise relevant for the last six. What has he been in the league for? 7 years now. So yeah, as of what
Yeah.
his level, he's the embodiment of what Bills Mafia wants in their quarterback and in their players. He's tough. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
care what if he's going to beat up his body. He slings it. He's a gunslinger. He's not afraid
Yeah.
what his stats are going to look like. He just wants to win, and he doesn't care how many ribs are
Mm-hmm.
broken on the way to the end zone. So he deserves to be on there. And then
Yeah.
my last one is another controversial one. Maybe
Yes.
OJ Simpson.
Okay. All right.
So
Okay. Okay.
that I don't know that there's much to describe about OJ Simpson. Like he was a great running back for the Bills during his time there. Will personal life and whatever else you want to look will look aside from his mistakes in the world, but he was a great player for the Bills. So I will go
Mm-hmm.
with OJ as my fourth Bill. So that puts Jim Kelly, Josh Allen, Bruce Smith, and OJ Simpson as the Buffalo Bills Mount Rushmore.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Objections?
Those are solid picks. I could think of three off the top of my head. Thurman Thomas.
Wait, three
He
that
was
you
a
would
running back for
so
them.
you only like one of my picks? Is that
I like three of your picks.
oh,
Okay. I like Kelly. Okay. I like OJ Simpson, Bruce Smith, of course. But I could say instead of Josh Allen, maybe Thurman Thomas. Um, and then this is a player that many people haven't heard of. Um, Joe Delamure. He was the guy that was like you mentioned OJ Simpson.
hmm.
He was the guy that would block for that year that OJ rushed for more than 2,000 yards. So he was their like I think he was like their most famous offensive lineman. I think it was. And then Marv Levy. Marv Levy was the head coach of the Bills. But maybe you wouldn't put him in there because you already put one four-time loser on there. So you don't want to put another four-time loser.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's get to
Your schedule analysis. Ready?
schedule analysis. Okay,
I have
do me
your
first.
I
Okay.
have your Rams ready to go. Rock and roll, ready to go. Week 1, they will be visiting the Lions.
Ooh, L
Okay. Week 2, they will be visiting the Cardinals.
at Arizona. That is a win.
Okay. They will be hosting the Niners.
You disappeared on me. You froze.
The Niners. Week 3 Niners.
I can't hear you. All right, week
Can you hear
3.
me yet?
Week 3.
Yep.
Let me see. Okay. Um, let's say that is an L.
Week 4. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Week 4, they will be going to Chicago for the Bears.
Win.
Week 5 against the Packers at home.
Ooh, host pack. That will be a W.
Week 6 hosting the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah.
What did I have before? What did I have for the Raiders?
I think you had them
Oh,
lose.
you had the Raiders.
Yeah, I had them lose.
No, you had the Raiders
Yeah,
losing everything. Um, let's say you had the Raiders losing that game.
I did.
I actually had the Raiders winning that game.
You have the Raiders. Okay. Week
Yeah.
week 8 hosting the Vikings.
The Vikings. Oh, they have a 3-game home stretch.
Wait.
Let's see. W.
Okay, and me telling you that week 6, right before they play the Raiders, is a bye week for them for the Rams. Does that affect your pick
Yeah.
against the Raiders?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. No,
Okay,
not
moving
at
on.
all. No, I think the Raiders are going to do something special this year. So
Interesting.
I know I'm alone in this.
Yes, you quite alone.
Well, with you, yeah, in the same room as you, yeah.
The
Okay.
the Raiders bandwagon is quite empty. Tons of room for you there. Week 9, week 9, they will be visiting the Seattle Seahawks.
um, at the Hawks, W.
Okay. Week 10, they will be hosting the Dolphins.
That is a W for the Rams.
Week 11 at the Patriots, the Pats.
Ooh, the Pats at the Pats.
Yep.
I'm going to say they lose that game. I think that'll be a surprise loss on the schedule.
Okay. Week 12 hosting the Eagles.
The Eagles, your favorite team to hate.
No, that's my favorite after the Raiders.
After any team that's quarterbacked by Trevor Lawrence. Let's see. They host the Eagles. I'm going to say that is a W.
Okay. Week 13 at the Saints. Please tell me how you would like this game to go.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick the Saints, and only for this reason. Okay, because it's going to be the second half of the season. Derek Carr, like I've said many times before, he famously needs at least 8 games to understand a new playbook. So I'm going to give the Saints the victory here.
Okay. Week 14 hosting the Bills.
Hosting the Bills. Ooh. L.
Week 15 at the Niners.
At the Niners. L.
So the Niners sweep them.
Yes.
So they're 7-7
Yeah.
right now, just so you're tracking.
Yep.
Week 16 at the Jets.
W. Okay. All right.
Week 17 hosting the Cardinals.
W.
And week 18 hosting the Seattle Seahawks.
W.
Okay. So they will finish 10-7. Not bad. Not bad for the Rams.
Yeah. Go back to the Raiders real quick. The Raiders are going to have a special season. Honestly, I can honestly see them pulling up the AFC West upset and winning that division. I can. Is it going to happen? I don't know. It depends on what kind of magic Mahomes has this year, which is every year he has magic. But the Raiders, man, people are sleeping on Vegas, and I don't get it. I don't get it. And maybe partly I do get it. Maybe I get it from the sense of this team has been plagued with terrible coaching and overblown quarterback play over the last decade. And so I can see that, but not talking about the Chiefs. The Broncos in a rebuild year. I don't know if Stidham's starting. I don't know if Zach Wilson's starting. I don't know if Bo Nix is starting. If Bo Nix is starting, this is going to be year one of this experiment of seeing if Bo Nix was a reach or not, which I still think he was. And then the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh won't admit it, but the Chargers, they're going through a rebuild. This is absolutely a rebuild year for them. They are definitely going to show a different type of mentality on the gridiron this year because with Jim Harbaugh as a coach. But I mean, you remember when Jim Harbaugh took over Michigan, it took them 3 years to actually regain that traction to being the college football powerhouse that they were. And not that the Chargers have ever been a powerhouse, but I think the Raiders are going to do something special. And we're back with Manny.
Are you still defending the Raiders? Is that what's
Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, I am. Yeah, you're gonna come crawling back to me, wishing me to take back our friendship that I never got rid of in the first place. But you're gonna feel so bad.
No,
So bad.
no regrets, none at all.
You're gonna feel the worst. Okay, let's do your Buffalo Bills.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Week 1, they host Arizona.
Win.
Oh, win. Okay. Week 2, at Miami.
Loss.
Ooh.
I feel like maybe
Okay.
did we already go over Miami previously and I chose. I can't remember if we went over Miami previously.
We did go over Miami, but I had Miami.
Okay, so that
And I can't remember. I think I had Miami losing that game
Okay.
because I have no confidence in Tua
yeah,
at all.
you gonna hate on me talking smack about the Raiders and you hate on the Dolphins, but whatever.
Okay, that's not weird. Okay, all right. You're the only person who believes in Tua Tagovailoa.
The Raiders have nothing.
The only person.
No.
The only person who believes in Tua and the nerd cruncher on the sidelines with the glasses. Okay, the only one. All right. Week 3. They host the Jaguars. I already know where this is going.
The Bills win.
Trevor Lawrence is on that team. They're gonna lose every game. At Baltimore.
Loss. Baltimore wins.
Okay. That's what L means. Okay. At Houston. I already know where this is going too.
I am high on the Texans. You know this.
I know you are.
I'm not thinking they're going undefeated, but I think they have enough to beat the Bills. The Bills will lose that game.
Week 6 at the Jets.
Ooh.
Remember, Aaron Rodgers has to decide to show up to the game.
He has to.
Okay, he doesn't really want to show up to anything right now. So,
well, I reserve the right to change my mind then. But at this, I think the Bills will win.
At this junction,
Yes.
you say, okay,
Yeah.
All right, okay. Week 7, they host Tennessee.
Your favorite.
I know how you feel about the
Your
Titans.
favorite underdog.
But Bills win?
Yeah, no. The Bills win.
Okay, yep, I figured that was coming. Week 8, they host Seattle.
I'm gonna say the Bills get a little bit of a win streak going, and they'll beat Seattle.
You're going against me?
Yeah.
I said the Rams were going to win that game. Okay, how dare you? Week 9, they host Miami.
They'll split with Miami, so that means another win for the Bills because I picked Miami to win. So they're 6-3 right now, right? Yeah.
No, they are 5-4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-4. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You had them on a. Wait, no, you had them winning against the Jets. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they're 6-3. Okay.
Yeah.
Week 10 at Indianapolis.
Hey, I only will pick the Colts to win because the Bills can't. There's no way the Bills will win 5 in a row.
All right, that's lame. Okay, week 11, they host Kansas City. They have not had a bye week yet.
The arch nemesis. They're gonna be beat up. The Colts probably will beat them up a bit. I think the Chiefs will win.
All right, okay, 7-4. Week 13 after the bye,
A win.
they will host San Fran.
A win
A
for
win. Okay.
no bias against
Week
the
four,
Niners.
week 14 at the Rams.
What did you choose on this one?
I said that the Rams lose this game.
I concur. The Bills
Of
will
course you
win.
do. Okay. Week 15 at Detroit.
Detroit wins. I think you chose Detroit. You chose Detroit to win that game as well.
I did. Week 16, they host New England.
They will beat New England.
You had to think about that one. Okay.
No, I was looking at you in
Week,
disappointment that week.
week 17, week 17 they host the Jets.
They will lose to the Jets. The Jets will bounce back.
What?
Yeah, they're not going to
All
sweep
right.
the Jets. Not
Okay.
with A-Rod.
Week 18 at New England.
They will beat New England.
So they sweep New England. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11-6. That's a Bills record.
That's actually a really
Yeah.
good record for the Bills.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any disagreement with that record for them?
I don't have a disagreement with the record. No. Maybe a game here or there I disagree with, but
Okay,
no.
that's fair. 10-6.
What kind of
That's honestly generous for me, considering they don't have
Yeah.
on Diggs. They don't know what the hell's going to happen with that offense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
This is the first. I think this is the first time we've done schedule analysis so far that we've both picked each team to have a above 500 record.
we're not very optimistic around here.
No, correction, you're not. We haven't had an above 500 record at the same time because you don't believe in anyone except Dallas Cowboys.
No, I don't even believe.
So
Just wait until I get them as my pick. No, I'm realistic. I'm
Okay.
realistic about my expectations for teams.
I so badly want I want me to pick the Cowboys and you pick the Saints in 1 week, like the same week. That's what
awesome.
I want. I
That would
want.
be awesome.
Okay, let's go on to everyone's favorite segment, Fix of Six. Cue the music.
Let's cue the music.
Lead us off, Manny, while I jam out
Boys,
to my elevator sounds.
weekly pick of 6. Number 3, Mr. Dan Hurley has rejected the LeBron Lakers. Oh, I'm sorry, Los
Yeah.
Angeles Lakers. They
I
offered.
don't understand what that means.
What's the difference? They offered him a 6-year, $70 million contract, and he chose to stay at UConn. 6 years, $40 million. That goes to show how much either hope there is for the LA Lakers or how much hope he has for UConn. I'm leaning towards not too much confidence in what the Lakers have going on. Why would he burn his career when he has something great at UConn? Going for a 3-peat over rebuilding a LeBron.
It's actually $70 million he turned down.
Yeah, 70. That's what I said. 6 million, 6 years, 70 million.
I thought he said I heard 40. Never mind. Okay.
No, 40
yeah.
what he's making at UConn.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Manny's numero dos. And this is a not. Caitlin Clark did not make the women's Olympic basketball team. And this
So
is
stupid.
a good thing for me. Caitlin Clark is growing into the WNBA. She is getting beat up, and I expected her to be a dominant figure in the WNBA. I thought that her skills were going to translate, but seeing her in with the Fever right now goes to show that she has some growing to do. And kudos to the selection committee for the WNBA for not just picking views, over skills. Because I looked over their rosters, they picked some dominant players, so they are going for winning compared to viewership. So I'm not mad about Caitlin Clark not making it. Caitlin, you'll have your chance. You're a rookie. Give me a break. She's not mad. I'm not saying she's mad by it at any time, but there was a comment by her coach made that she said they've awoken a demon. Get your fever to 4 wins if they awoken a demon. So let's just see how you hold up for the rest of the season. And Manny's number one fix of 6. The Madden NFL cover has been announced, and the doomed player this year shall be Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
You
Which
know,
means he's going to get hurt now.
yes. We all think Mahomes broke the curse when he was on the cover and then won the Super Bowl the same year. We all think that that's the end of the Madden curse, but the Madden curse, as much as I hate to say it, the Madden curse is live and well, and I hate that McCaffrey is bound to not make the Super Bowl and or possibly get hurt. I don't hope for it, but the curse is a curse. I don't make the rules. It's just what it is.
I don't make the rules.
I don't make
The
the
universe
rules.
does.
Yeah, exactly. So that is Manny's fix of 6. JB, take it away.
JB's number 3 fix of 6. The backflip fan at the Red Sox game. I got 2 questions for you. One, did he he went to court and the judge asked him, what do you think about the backflip? And his response was, I think I nailed it. I love that response. It's amazing. But
Not only
my
that,
question,
he responded to that while wearing the same jersey he did on the court.
he did. My question is, how much money would it take for you to do that? If you could do a backflip, how much money would it take for you to
No
do
physical ability restrictions. I don't think it would take that much. It would not take that
it? JB's fix of 6, number 2. Paul Skeens, his standing ovation against the Cardinals. That was, as much as I hate the Cardinals, that was a classy move by St. Louis to applaud that young man out of the game. 6 in the third innings, no walks, 8 strikeouts, and he's the first pitcher since I think Masahiro Tanaka to go his first 45 innings with no more than 6 walks, which is absolutely outstanding for a rookie guy. And then staying on that same note, JB's number 1 fix of 6 is Paul Skeens' his pitch mix. And I said this last week on the fix of 6. Everyone's talking about Paul Skeens going to go having TJ surgery because he throws 104 miles an hour every other pitch. But this kid is learning on the fly what to pitch. He went from his from throwing his splinker most of the time, which is his most effective pitch, to actually leaning on his curveball this time. And so I love pitchers who learn who mix it up. I love more young guys coming into the league and saying, I'm going to learn on the fly, I'm going to figure this out. And it's absolutely the reason why he's been as dominant as he has been through the first 45 or so innings of his major league career. And that concludes JB and Manny.
Great. Good stuff.
Great
takes.
Great. I have 2 things to say to you. One, the Caitlin Clark non-selection was just so dumb. So dumb. You talked about they're not going for viewers, they're going for wins. If I'm the WNBA, I'm doing anything I can to get people to watch this. Okay,
This is
I mean, no one's
Olympics. This is
watching it anyway.
international. The WNBA is not running the Olympics. Let's get that clear. We want America to be first across the board. We're going for gold,
Yeah,
not viewers.
yeah,
We'll get the viewers either
yeah.
way. That's
I no, you won't. But we always disagree. We disagree most of the time.
true.
But my second take on your fix to six was, um, if I'm Christian McCaffrey, I would have Heisman my way out of the cover. This is the Niners' last chance to actually win the
True.
Super Bowl. After this, they're gonna have to wait a few years because they don't have the cap space to sign
They'll have to resign.
all the key.
True.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, they already re-signed McCaffrey to a gajillion-dollar contract. So this is absolutely their last year because they will not have either Ayuk or Debo on the squad next year. So the fact that Christian McCaffrey's he's already out for the season. So this is
I wish
we've already determined
I
this.
wish players could be like, no, I don't want to be. No, I'm okay. I wish they had this.
I mean, this is bad news. Bad news
Not
if
okay.
I'm Christian McCaffrey.
And I don't consent. All right.
Yeah. I thought,
Well, to wrap
yeah.
things up,
What
JB.
are you drinking?
JB, I'm bringing back last week's drink, partially because I am very restricted where I'm at right now and being able to just
Mhm.
try new things, but also because Gentleman's Jack is a drink that I am pleasantly surprised by. Usually,
Yeah.
I will try buying a new bottle every week just to try
Yeah.
new things because I'm like, okay, I can find better. I want to try something new. I have no issues with continuing to drink this bottle. And if you see how much is left in this bottle, this is just
Yeah.
from the episodes that we filmed. I haven't drank this outside of these episodes, so I am enjoying this drink.
Nice.
Very
All
good.
right. I learned my dad loves that.
It's
I
good.
learned
I
that he
don't,
loves it.
I
And
don't know where
I'm
it
just
came
surprised.
from. I don't. It's good. This is my third glass. It's
Yeah.
this is 2 out of 3 glasses were neat. You're welcome. So it was good.
I am
What are you
drinking
drinking?
uh, a bourbon that I've never had before. The Four Roses small batch.
Ooh.
They have the regular Four Roses bourbon. I saw the small batch. I was like, man, I'll splurge a little bit more on it. It's actually really good. I had to drink it with on the rocks just because it was in my car all day. It was really warm, so I sneakily texted my wife and asked her to get me some ice for it, and the ice immediately melted because that's how warm it was. But it's nice. It's smooth. I mean, especially when um, when either the glass is chilled or the bourbon is chilled. It's very it goes down very smooth.
I have I have recently been getting I'm where I'm at. I'm getting a there's a bar downstairs to the hotel that we're staying at.
Mhm.
The bartender was giving high praises for Four Roses as a really good whiskey to drink. So
Yeah,
I was tempted
yeah,
to, and now that you're saying it's not bad, I might
yeah,
go and try it out next time I buy
yeah,
some.
yeah. Now, like I said, I haven't had the regular Four Roses bourbon, but this is the small batch. The small batch is really good. It's good, and this is my first class I've had. This is the first two fingers I've had of it. And what I'm smoking today, so as you can see, I am not in my regular
That
place.
is
I
correct.
am live from Padres Cigar Lounge in Corrales, New Mexico. And the owner decided to sponsor this episode, and he gave me a stick on the house. I'm
Nice.
smoking the Casa Cuba uh, uh, Doble. Um, I've had a little struggle keeping it lit. I've had to light it a couple times already, but it tastes like a Habano wrapper. But this is it's a nice cigar. It's nice. This is the biggest gauge I could find um, of what they had in stock here. But he asked me when we walked in the humidor, "What haven't you smoked yet?" And I said, "I smoked everything." And
Yeah,
so he was like, "Have you had the Casa Cuba yet?" And I have not. So he gave me the Casa Cuba, and this is the Doble Cinco. So this is it's a good stick. Yeah.
nice. Well, shout out to Padres for sponsoring your cigar today. Thank you so much
Yes.
to Padres for hosting you. Thank you so much to
Yes.
Padres for giving you a cigar for you to try. We love that. We appreciate every single contribution that we get for this humble podcast. JB,
Absolutely. And
get us out of here.
speaking of contributions, follow us on Spotify and YouTube at Box Scores and Bourbon. Follow our content on TikTok and Instagram at BSB Sports 24. We are constantly drumming up content and throwing it out there. Please keep commenting, those of you on TikTok. And as far as YouTube goes, follow us. We want 100 followers, 100 subscribers by the end of 2024. And if you're on Spotify, follow us there. Give us a listen. We love hearing from you guys, and we love the fact that we're able to just do this podcast. These are two buddies doing a podcast, and this is loads of fun. But until next time, folks, cheers us out.
Cheers.
Stay thirsty, and have a great week.